All right, we are welcoming Larry Cisco to the podcast today. So, Larry, you are owner slash VP of Ironstrong Metal Fabrication. So, we probably have a lot in common that we can talk about. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, totally. So, I want to start with probably where most people start is the journey. So, going from lead welder lead welder in the metal industry to Ironstrong Metal Fabrication to owner. What got you into metal fabrication first, and then the transition into actual company ownership?
My dad. My dad owns a structural steel company in North Jersey. So I first picked up my first welder. First started welding at 3. I used to come on weekends and he'd throw scrap metal while he worked, and I just pulled the trigger and loved it. And as I got older, I hated it because it was used as a punishment for myself and my siblings. Anytime we got in trouble in school, we had to go work for my dad for free. And I hated it, wanted nothing to do with it. Tried the whole college thing right out of high school. Did that full time, worked part time, ended up liking the paycheck better. And then said, I'm done. I'm just going to go work full time for my dad. Got a lot of work ethic from him. I worked with my older brother, and the difference, I tried to always look at it as not a family business. I always looked at my dad as my boss. It wasn't the same way with my brother. I was there for about, I would say 4 or 5 years. And then my dad and I got in one fight in that whole time. And that was, I'm done. I'm leaving. I reached out to my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. Her roommate said, "Hey, do you have a problem? I come live with you guys." They said, sure. I showed up. My wife was like not having it, but then she was happy with it. Kind of wasn't sure. I knew welding. I can get a welding job anywhere.
Sure.
Went through Aerotech and hated that nightmare. It was it was on job sites and Aerotech and the job site. I first was at Kinsley Construction, and I guess they had gotten into it with Aerotech, and they kicked all the guys off the job. I'm like, I need to get a more concrete way. And then started at Zimmerman Industries, and I was there for quite a while. Learned a lot because I was going from the field and structural to just production shop, and I fell in love with it. I never wanted to go back in the field again. Kind of was there for a while. Moved to another place to run their weld shop, and then met my business partner Sean Reppert.
Yep.
And then he had left where he was at, went to where he was pretty much a general manager. Asked me to come along. Went there. That company, at the time asked us to start a fab shop. We started a fabrication shop. It was one of the, hey, we don't want to grow anymore. And we were like, we had customers saying, hey, you guys should just do this for yourselves. And December 1st, 2019, we did it. It was a really uphill battle. In the positions we were at, we didn't want to do anything on company ground. So we just put our notice in, met with the bank, and they're like, all right, hey, come back in 2 weeks. We gave them, hey, we want $300,000, loan, $200,000 line of credit. We had $125,000 between us saved up. Nope, no problem. We get there, sign the papers, and hey, we're going to give you half of everything, and you have to buy everything and sign it over to us. So we were like, oh wow. So that was the start. But I mean, Sean and I have always, worked great in chaos, and we got into industry with a lot of entertainment customers. And COVID hit, they were the first ones to shut their doors, so we had to really, really pivot. We closed our doors and laid off our employees for a couple weeks, and then we got one of our vendors reached out and asked if we wanted to help mass produce hospital beds. And we did. And that was probably the toughest work I've ever done in my life. We were there 6-7 days a week from 3 a.m. till sometimes 8 p.m. We had to deliver 100 beds a day, and we hired everyone back, hired 3 more people, bought some welders, and did that for about 3 or 4 months straight. And then it just hurt overnight. All right, we're done. No more beds being made. But we didn't do it for much, but there was so much marketing around it. Like the news got a hold of it, and our name was involved in one of the companies that did it, and we've just been upward ever since. We started in a little 6,000 square foot facility in Columbia. We had, it was my business partner Sean and his wife Andrea, my business partner as well, and then 2 other people on the floor. And we were there for about a year and a half. Moved to Mount Joy. We're there for about a year and a half. That was about 20,000 square foot broken up, maybe total 12,000 of chopped up workspace. Then it was a Sunday in July of 23. I was on my way home from a soccer tournament for my daughter in New Jersey. The landlord calls me up and says, "Hey man, your roof collapsed because of that was one day in July. We had all that rain for like a week, and it really came down." He's like, "Hey, sorry," and hung up. I'm in Jersey on the way back having a meltdown, and it was just. We posted the video on it. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was about 9 minutes straight of just a waterfall. It was just water right in the middle of our machine shop. We were super happy. It was on a Sunday because it was a high foot traffic area. So, I mean, when it came, there was no warning watching the video. We were there, and it was one of those blessing in disguise because, our landlord wanted that space, and we knew we were outgrowing it really quick. And, when all the dust settled, the insurance was like, "Hey man, this is your ticket out." And they paid for our move, and we got a bunch of new equipment. And so now we're in 32,000 square feet wide open in Lancaster, right behind that fish place, that pet place. And we have, I think 30 or 32 employees now. Our 5-year anniversary will be this December. So you had told me in, December 1st of 2019 that I'd be, we'd have all this equipment, these employees, I would have said you're out of your mind, because those were all like, hey, 10-year was our plan to get a laser and press brake, and we got it in less than 3. And it's just been ever since. We're getting the work, we have the customers, we've dealt so much in the first 2 years of business of having to sub everything out and being held to lead times and taking too long on quotes, and if things get messed up on our vendors' end, having to wait to get non-conformances back, it was just a nightmare. So it made us move. I wouldn't take it back because it made us move a lot faster than we had ever anticipated.
Yeah, so keeping the control in your own house way more.
Yeah. And it's gotten us so much more, so many more customers. We have some customers that didn't care. There were customers that were just giving us POs for laser work, and we were just the middleman. And we have some customers that we did all the welding for, all the laser and forming, but since we didn't have any CNC equipment inside in the house, they just refused to give it to us. And even though our prices were better than what they were getting in lead times, they just refused. So now we need everything in house, and that's what we have about 95% of it. The next thing would probably be powder coating is our next game.
All right, I got a couple questions to some of that. One, what did you go to college for? What road were you going down?
I wanted to be a gym teacher.
Okay.
Big sports, love exercise. I love the exercise science part of it, but at that age, I just wanted to make money. And it's funny, actually, when I was still at Zimmerman Industries, I actually went back to school to try and go be a respiratory therapist. And I have all my gen eds done, and it got to the point for clinicals I had to quit and do it full time. That's all the schedule allotted, and I couldn't afford to do that. A couple years later, now I'm trying to go back just to at least get an associate's degree in business now, since I have the gen eds. It's crazy. Never thought
your dad and you good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're fine. It was, he called me up, apologized, but he knew if my decision's made up, I'm not just going to toy with it. I don't make false threats. I never threatened him. I just, hey man, I'm just not working here anymore, and left. And that was it. But he's super proud.
Yeah. I was going to say, what does he think about what you're doing?
Oh, he loves it. He had some struggles in business, when he was, young and dumb and thought taxes weren't a thing. That really made me not have it. Gave me a really bad taste of wanting to own a business, because I only saw some of the negative sides of it. It's not right, but it also helped, like, hey, this is why I don't want to do certain things, or this is why, my business partner and I all get together, and hey, this is why we have to do certain things. That's where Andrea, who's our CFO, is a godsend. She really keeps Sean and I, in line with the money spending, and here are our bills, here are the billables we need, here's our schedule we need to hit every week. So
good. It's interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
My dad and I, we talk almost every day. He's always asking how business is going. He's shocked in such a great way with how much we've grown and how we've handled it, especially me personally, because he knew how much I hated it and never wanted to get into it, and made a career and a life out of it. This is my second family. I know everyone says that, but I mean, I spend more time here than I am with my actual family. We used to have, before our office personnel really grew, we had a little daycare in here with we had a room for the kids. I have 3 daughters. Sean and Andrew have 4 kids between them. Derek has 2 kids. There are times we've had that room filled with kids.
So interestingly, you said you have a CFO at 32 employees. What's interesting for that for me is a lot of companies struggle with the idea of a CFO at that level. But what I think you said to back that up is you guys wouldn't be where you're at without that position.
Oh, absolutely not. Andrea doesn't get enough credit that
Mm.
she's due. She's my work wife. She's my second wife. And she's phenomenal. She really keeps us in line. She's really, yeah. In that CFO, anyone in the accounting is always money, 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 terrified, terrified, terrified. And anytime she's ever, hey, we're in a spot, and Sean are like, hey, we're gonna be good. She knows it's gonna be good. But it's nice having those numbers. And now with how fast we're growing and what we're getting into, we're starting our ISO certification in September.
Awesome.
So there's a lot that we really need to get dialed in. She's been hammering on us for the past couple of years, and we've just kind of like, oh, let's just kick it to the side. And now listening, the numbers don't lie. It took us a while. It took, especially Sean and myself, a while to really understand that. And super, super grateful for Andrea's, like I said, they never get the CFOs in the background, never get the credit, but she's, probably more of a part of where we're at today than Sean or I and Derek are, and everyone else in our company.
Yeah. I mean, a good controller / CFO gives ops confidence to go and do crazy stuff, right? So it's because you guys come up with these crazy ideas and then you go, good or not good, good or not good, right?
Yeah, Sean and I always call ourselves gunslingers. We just, hey, we're going to do it. We'll figure it out. And we've always have. But now it's like, all right, now Sean and I catch myself. We're like, all right, let's get justification. We want this piece of equipment. What jobs do we have it for? What else could we use it for? How long do we want to pay it off? And so it's nice. Now I'm really getting into the end of that, the side of that, really trying to learn all of that. Because I'm in a peer group. I mean, I feel dumb. It's with some of these CEOs, owners. So they're talking language. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking. So it's forcing me to have to get uncomfortable with things that I didn't want to learn that I need to learn, in that industry. Because it's been blessed. We have with myself, 4 partners, and we're all the 4 pillars. So Andrew does that. Sean does this. Derek does that. I do a lot of the sales and business development and project managing. So I've always leaned on Sean for certain things with business decisions, Derek, for the laser and forming side of things, and Andrew for the accounting. Now it's like I really need to learn everything to kind of be a well-rounded owner, in my opinion.
What has peer groups given to you?
Growth. It's opened my eyes. It's made me look at things a lot different because it's nice. There's 9 of us in the group. I'd say 3 of us are owners. The rest are all CEOs or CFOs or higher management positions. So it's getting to hear their side of it. It's not the owners help. All right, justify my issues that we're having. Thoughts and processes we're having that make sense, and then hearing the other side of it from the employee aspect of, all right, I never looked at it this way. And these men and women in this group, they're so smart, and they really make us look at different things. And we could think that we have an issue with a certain employee, and then this group, listening to them explain it, it makes us look at it from a different side. And actually, no, that person's a fantastic employee. We're just completely overwhelming them. Let's give them a raise. It's just crazy stuff like that, and I love it. I was kind of skeptical going into it. I'm like, I don't need to go have a feelings talk, but it's really helped me learn a ton about business that I didn't even realize was there. And they don't cut around the shit. They call you out. They don't care who you are. They will call you out if, hey, this is my thought, and they're like, well, that's bullshit. Look at it from this side, and you go, you're 100% correct.
Yeah. It's perspective and accountability. I think people don't realize what a group of people who actually care about your success can do for you. It's pretty crazy.
And that's where it comes into. You got me your LinkedIn post and everything about Dale Carnegie. That book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I saw it and I started listening to some of it, and I downloaded it and I listened to it nonstop. I was at the gym. That's why I had it at the gym. Driving. I fell in love with that book, and it really did. And Sean and Andrea, or who are you? When I was knowing that book, they listened to it, and it just opens your eyes up to, before that, it was more that owner, hey, we're in a growing business. All you guys need to move it. We have bills we have to pay. We're still in a startup stage. We really need you to move. I don't care. But now it's like, all right, let me get to know them a little better, see what makes them tick, what they want, and how, what do they want? Because in my mind, everyone always wanted money. Because when I grew up into this industry, it was everyone just wanted money. They wanted overtime. They didn't care. And that's still that way with some of the older generation, but now it's the younger generation is they want health benefits. They want more vacation time.
Yep.
Obviously, they still want some money, but they want to live their life more. I grew up working's your life. That's what I need. So It really helped change that perspective and made us talk to all of our employees and really kind of get to more of a personal level with them. And it was great because for some reason, I try and stay out of the employee interaction just because I'm so blunt and I just don't have the time to stroke egos. And I'll give you criticism, and nowadays some people don't like it. So there's always this persona on the floor, and everyone sees me, they're terrified on the floor. So, and then I'm out there more now trying to talk to them, get to know them. It's kind of eased up, but for the longest time, I could never realize it. And it's just because I never really got to really dive into my employees, ask them about their family. Not really. We have a ton in common. Our kids are the same age. I didn't realize we play against you guys in soccer. It's all different stuff, it was really neat. That book and these peer groups are the two best things I've ever had happen to me in a short time of being in business.
It's interesting you say that. I noticed that a lot of people who feel so the greatest thing about Dale Carnegie's book is it was written in 1936. And what I think is fascinating about that is the generation today is supposed to be soft.
Yeah.
But the generation in 1936 was supposed to be really, really hard, right?
Yeah.
But if the book was written in 1936 and it talks about all this stuff about all these soft factors, right? Then we as people haven't actually evolved, as in our emotions that much. We all still need to feel important and feel, respected and all of that stuff that we actually hate talking about today. But we should have been talking about it back then as well. It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just the work environment, like, growing up when I was a welder, people would mess with you, they would, I don't want to say it wasn't hazing. I guess it was, the one thing I knew but I will never forget, I was welding and I was having a conversation with my coworker and he had a torch and he was heating up a clamp and I'm watching him do it. Like, what are you doing? And he just threw it to me and just instinctively, I just went and grabbed it and caught it and had a cherry red piece of steel in my hand.
Oh my God.
And dropped it. And now I'm sitting there telling like, if I did that today, I would face who knows what kind of backlash.
Well, even back then it was dumb.
It was horrible. But it was looked at like if you go complain about it, you're going to get destroyed by your coworkers. And we try and preach an open door policy here. We truly have it. We have some employees that take full benefit of it, and others that just, I guess, prideful or don't want to look weak and do it. But I wish they would because it really opens up. And I like this culture more. The more I'm involved in it, and the more I talk about it, especially with other people like yourself, I don't want to say it's not a soft culture. It's more of an open culture. You need to know. It's more. You kind of need to be more personable with who you're working with or who you have working for you. And it's just nice to know what makes them tick. And I could be messing around with someone not knowing that they had some issue in their life that was involved in. I would never know it, and it could just cause such a bridge between us over just something I thought I was messing around. So it's different.
Yeah, man. Empathy is really tough. Humility goes a long, long way. One thing I would say with the whole saw, and it's notorious in construction, right? It's not metal manufacturing. It's just construction in general. What I've noticed over the short period, I've been really focusing on culture. Like the key is it's not soft. The word I love is engagement, because I do think engaged employees solve your safety problems, they solve your quality problems, and they solve your retention problems. Because one, they're engaged because they want to work there. They want to know what's going on. When you feed them information, they want more and more of it, and they want to be prideful about the information you're giving them, whether that's under budget, low quality issues, and really good on safety, right? If you feed them the information, I really think they get engaged, and all of those data sets, I think, get better with engaged employees. Now, engaged employees is really hard. You can't just hire someone just to say, hey, I want an
Yeah.
engaged culture. Like it's you, right? We're the ones that got to do that to make people feel comfortable enough to stick around. So no, that's brilliant, man. I'm really glad that because I just read Dale Carnegie last November, so I'm new on this trek as well in the sense of like understanding how to talk to people, communication, how important it is, and we're doing a company-wide book club starting in October with a different book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People,
I've
and
been reading currently.
I'm hoping 50% sign up.
Mhm.
That's like it's succeeding or not goal. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see how many people actually sign up, but
Mhm.
I'm getting some pretty wild faces when I say
Yeah.
we're doing a company book club, but we'll see what happens. But good for you, man. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, we definitely we're doing something right because our retention level is fantastic.
Awesome.
Which is nice is that all of our employees talk with each other. Some of them hang out a lot. And it's a really good mix, and it's fun. It's fun seeing them grow and want to work with each other on projects.
Yeah.
We've always made it from day one. We don't want any drama. I don't need it. We're all here to make a paycheck. We're going to be with each other majority of the time. Let's just try and enjoy it.
Mm.
And it's been good. We were super loose when we started, and we quickly see why certain businesses do what they do because it gets taken advantage of. All right. And even the safety aspect of it, safety is such a huge thing, especially now as an owner. I look at safety as a whole nother level than I did when I was before.
I bet.
And it's great because it was just the other day, one of our maintenance who also runs our safety committee. There are times I'll walk out on the shop floor and forget my safety glasses, and no other employee will say except for him. I'll just walk, he'll look at me and just go, yep, I'll turn around and go get it. He holds everyone accountable, which is fantastic.
I almost got 3 days. I almost got 3 days off because I walked through overhead doors right when I started at SWF. Because in the power plant construction world, it's not a safety infraction to walk through an overhead door. In manufacturing, it is, unless you're carrying something. I kept forgetting, and I did it 2 times. And luckily, someone in structure was like, "Brandon, stop!" And I was like right at the line. I'm like, "Oh my god, you saved me!" Because I walked right to safety, wrote myself up, and there we go.
There you go.
So let me ask you. So you mentioned about VP of kind of business development arena and the project management arena,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is really fascinating because those are two groups that can be at odds with each other. One, because you're trying to bring all the work in and keep everyone busy, but the PMs will then dictate this is good work, not good work. Stop bringing in crap opportunity. How do you handle both sides of that fence?
a lot of hours. I honestly, I love it. If my business partners had it their way, they'd have me completely removed from project managing and just do straight sales. I thrive with customers. I love it. I love interacting, but at the same time, I don't think I'll ever leave it because I love being involved in the start of a project, to start to finish, and then seeing how we did the whole analytics of it. How do we do on our times? How do we do costing it, and then building that relationship with them. So I guess the benefit is with us being such a small company, we have myself, we have 2 project managers, and then Kyle, who does our operations, that still does some project manager as well. So the one project manager who they call Mini Me is we brought her off the floor. She did all of my work, and she's just training under me. She got to go, 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 and she's doing fantastic. We have Justin, who's fantastic, super thorough with everything. So in the way, what this peer group taught me is hunters and farmers.
Yeah.
In our mindset, before these peer groups, we were trying to treat our PMs to be hunters. Hey, we'll bring you on, get commission, whatever customers you get, and realize quickly that's not the way to go about it because we're asking to do way more. Hey, we're hiring you for a job, what we want you to do for. We quickly like, so our 2 project managers for some of the smaller stuff, I would say, of our farmers. And then Kyle and I are the hunters. We'll take the jobs and everything funnels through us. And then kind of goes down to, we split them out to our other 2 project managers. They have their normal customers that I don't have to worry about. They take care of. Any new stuff funnels through me. And I'll or if they have anything that they have questions on, they'll come right to me and ask like, hey, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? And with having my background in fabrication, and Kyle and Sean was a machinist by trade, Kyle's a fabricator. There's so many people in the office that have worked on the shop and worked their way up. So we all really have a lot of meetings, and there's stuff that we really want that we used to take. We used to take everything, and it would cause such a headache. And now I don't want to say more selective. We're just a little more like, this doesn't make sense for what we're
mature.
doing. And that's how it kind of funnels through. And it can be super stressful at times. Trying to, one customer pulling me this way, PM's trying to ask me on this, and my phone's never stopping. My wife kind of gets, in that post, she knows when she's having a conversation with me, my mind's elsewhere, but I could still multitask and focus on her, but still do work in my head as it's going. But it's tough. I mean, it definitely is tough, but really enjoying it and loving it makes it easier than it probably would for most people. And we know we need more people, but we just don't have the space, and we want to get more shop. Right now, we have, I would say, too many office personnel than we do on the shop. We have a lot of shop, but we kind of starting to figure that ratio. Hey, we need, 5 fabricators to 1 project manager, let's say, just trying to figure that balance out. But yeah, we all work really well with each other. Kyle is in more of that, he came from, GSM and then Bass. So he's in that big industrial realm. So he handles all of that. Any of the other fabrication that's a little under that, I handle, and I work with all of our project managers to help with that.
What is your favorite part of the sales side, and what is your favorite part of the project management side?
Interacting with customers for sales. I take it as a challenge. I love, going after new customers. I guess that's a double-edged sword. I love going after new customers. I take it as a goal. I want to get in with them. If someone gives me a lead, hey, reach out to this company, I'll keep going until they tell me to get out of their door. But most time it's just that persistence. And we've been super fortunate that we've always had a great opportunity. We reach out to someone at a perfect opportunity, whether their vendor dropped the ball or, they need more help. And it's always been a blessing that we've had with that perfect opportunity, because, it is tough, because there are some, trying to get purchasing managers to break away from their, easy, well, I'm already set up with this guy, I could just send them orders, I don't have to deal with starting over again. That's the biggest challenge. And I love trying to break those walls down with them to get it. And it works, 90% of the time we're able to get it. The other part of sales is I love the customer interaction, as far as the relationship. I reach out to all the customers, even ones that I don't deal with, that my other PMs deal with. Hey, how's it going? How's, Maddie doing? How's Justin doing? How's Kyle doing? How am I doing? What can we improve on? What else do you need? And then, we have our list. We go through, Christmas time, December, I'm every day. I don't do much in December because I'm taking customers out to lunch, to dinner. Last year we had a Christmas party, and it was like, all right, hey, we invited customers, we invited friends, and it was out of control, way more than we thought would show up. So it's just having that relationship. And that's what I've always done, even before I owned my own business. All my customers, I tried to become friends with. They all had my personal cell phone. They all knew they can call me any time of the day, and I would answer regardless. I've had a customer call me at 2 a.m. We have a couple customers that are in the UK. So, they're up at 6 a.m, and, it's 1 o'clock over here, and they've called me and I'll answer. And I said, that just takes us, customer service has been one of our biggest success in business, is we really handle, with my experience of subbing stuff out to laser and forming, non-conformance, having, I didn't understand, if my laser house messed something up, why am I waiting a week to get it back? That doesn't make any sense to me. I already had to wait 2 weeks to get it, and I have to wait another week. So we obviously strive to not have any non-conformances. That's unrealistic.
Yeah.
But if we have it, we will get it to you turned around within 24 to 48 hours, if possible. And that's been huge. So that's always been, our customers always said, yeah, we don't like the non-conformances, but your response time, overshadows the mistake that was there. So it's actually made us look great. Project managing of it, I just love reaching out to vendors, building the assembly, all right, this is what I think it will take, and then tracking it to see how accurate I was. Take it as a goal, and then all right, how do I need to improve on the next one? Or, oh man, we completely overshot our time in quoting, and we got it done in half the time. We could have lost that job.
Yeah.
And that's I'd say the cost analyst of it after it's done, post job analysis. I've been really diving into that, since we've been really diving into what our true costs are. And it's fascinating. It's really made me enjoy that side of it.
It's my favorite thing too.
And it can be hard conversations with our project managers. Like, hey, why did you quote this? Well, that's what I thought it would take. Well, you were 7 hours short. So then now it's having that hard conversation, that the next time that job comes through, hey, Well, why is this job $2,000 more? Well, I shot myself in the foot the last time we did it, and we just eat it. I'm one of those, even if it's something like during quoting and we get the order and we're processing and realize we completely messed up, 90% of the time we're going to eat it, just so we don't have to create that issue. So what we'll do is, hey, we'll reach out to our customer. Hey, we messed something up. We're going to honor the price we did here, but moving forward, this is what the new price would be.
Yeah.
I would say 75% of the time the customer's like, oh no, here's a new PO with the new price. It happens. And there are customers like, well, that's your problem. I get it. That's why I'm just informing you for future. You're not shocked the next time it comes through.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2019 to now, what was your biggest challenge so far?
I would say myself and just the personal growth of. Oh, it's a good question. I was wondering if that was going to be a question. I've had the peer group ask me that too. I would say it's myself. I've had my own way of, this is how I want something done. And I would say along that lines, probably the toughest with me is letting the reins go to Kyle, our operations manager. And when I never thought I would let it go, but I just had that trust. Listen, we hired you for a reason. I can't micromanage. You take it and run. We'll help you along the way. That was tough. That was tough giving up, and that was we were still early in that stage, and all the jobs coming were primarily mine. So they were all my babies. So, and it's probably been one of the greatest things I've ever done, is taking a step back and letting the person we hire do his job, because I've been a lot of places where micromanaging is just, it kills it. And I quickly realized I was micromanaging, that it wasn't right. And I'm going to hold, at the same time, I'm going to hold Kyle back from his own personal career growth if I did that. And it was fantastic, just letting that go, and letting him run the reins with it. But then even the personal growth, like you said, I need to interact more with employees. I need to be more involved. And that's it, just for a perfect example, which my business partners really saw, like we have one of our biggest customers. We had some serious issues a few months that our welder was cutting corners, and we started having things rejected. We couldn't figure out why. We figured out why. I got my head kicked in by that customer for 3 weeks. It was, I'd come home, my daughter looked like, you look tired. And I'm like, yeah. There's physical being exhaustion and mental. That was both. Yeah. And 2 years prior to that, I would have just told that employee, get your stuff and get out. But after the personal growth I've been trying to do, yeah, sure, it's easy for me to tell you to leave, get your stuff and leave. We brought him in and we said, listen, dude, you totally effed up big time. I've been getting stomped. I could tell you to leave, but that what's that going to do? That's not going to solve anything. That's not, beating you up isn't going to help you grow, isn't going to make the non-conformances go away. You messed up. We all messed up. This is what needs to be done to fix it. We're going to give you another chance. We need you to grow. You're going to be under the spotlight and the microscope. I'm going to be watching you thoroughly, but we're not firing. He thought he saw me in there, and his face just went white, and he was almost
Larry, you're the chopper.
I normally I'm not, but no one. It's just the guys. If I'm in a bad mood, I won't say anything to them, but they'll know. Just avoid Larry's office for a few minutes to he resets. Because there are times I'll just let it rip and say things that I shouldn't say. And that was that. And that's why I didn't talk to him for a week. Sean and Kyle handled it. Because if I brought him in that day, it would have been, I would have said some horrible things. And that's where it's just kind of working that to reset myself. And he's grown. He's been some easy mistakes, but it's been caught. But it also at the same time opened up a glaring issue of our quality control. This has just been such a repetitive job. Why has no one checked this constantly? So now here's our new quality plan.
Process.
And that's what it is. And that's what it is. It's that you're human. You're going to make mistakes. It's easier for me to fire you. It's harder for me to have you grow as a person and an employee and learn. Don't do it again. You're going to take this wherever you go. There's reasons why we want things done in place. Whether you think the way you're doing it is equivalent, it's not for a reason. That was huge. That was like I gave myself a pat in the back because I had those 3 weeks of just getting stomped and nothing I could say to them. I'm sorry.
You just take it.
Yeah. And that's where even my employer which my employer, my customer might as well be my employer, um, you know, was super impressed. They've been with us since the beginning. They were our first customer, and they've helped us grow to where we're at. And they do so much we do so much business for them.
Awesome.
And they've seen me over the years. They said they've seen it. The fact they said that's how I told them I'm super open and super close with everyone in that company. The fact that how we handled it, super impressive with me as a person. So that was also hearing it from, because I'll hear it from my business partners all the time, and I'm with them all the time, but hearing it from another person that it was on their stuff, that went wrong. So that was definitely awesome to hear.
Well, good for you, because that is not easy. I watched Al struggle with that thing, right? He'd have the days where you don't ask him for things and the days that you do, right? Very similar. So that some of the stories you're telling, I didn't get to work with him very long, but I heard the stories over the last 6 years, and it's interesting, and huge props on the delegation. And if you're going to hire smart people, let them do their job. Getting to that point, a lot of owners don't. It is a huge hurdle to let go of, like you said, their babies. So that's huge, man. And once you've stepped over that first one, I think the rest, they get easier and easier as you realize, like, holy shit, I don't have to do everything.
Yeah, that's been a godsend, because it allows us. We're 5 years in business, and my wife, I'm like, Ash, you haven't understood it. At this, I should be working around the clock. And that's where getting the business, we wanted to still enjoy our life and our family, and that's where we pay our employees probably above what the industry average is. And we hire the right people in the office and surrounded ourselves with people who can help us succeed and give us that freedom to what we want. And we're very selective of, like you said in your post, and I've heard it multiple places, I'm not going to take criticism or advice from someone. I'm not going to, what was it?
Criticism from someone I wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah, and that's the way we've done it. Like, I'm not going to hire someone I'm not going to trust. Like, if I don't trust you, I don't want you to take the reins. It didn't make sense. So definitely going that route of, we still want to enjoy our lives and our family. It's going to come at a pretty coin or dollar out of our pocket. But I'd rather enjoy life with my kids, and friends and family, and still, the partners, we all hang out. We all see each other a lot. Even I still see a lot of our employees out. We invite them over. We go out to dinner and drinks and whatnot. So it's definitely giving credit, and we try and do our best to make sure we're giving credit where it's due, because that was some of the biggest struggles we had, Sean and myself, and even Derek and Andrea especially. We were never given credit for anything that we did in any place we were at fully that we felt we deserved. Or it was kind of just, oh, hey, I'm just giving you credit just to give you credit. So it goes a long way, especially with this younger, newer generation. They love it. Hey,
small
great
victories.
Job. Fantastic. And that's what it is. And it goes that long way. Hey, great job. You did fantastic. Even, hey, you messed up on some of the job, but you know what? You killed it on the rest. Awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. Speaking of quality, you touched on that a little bit. What does craftsmanship mean to you?
Man, we've been getting more of that recently. Tough one. I want craftsmanship, I would say, as far as the quality end of it, I want to put out the best we could do. And it's hard. Oh, I'm giving you what you asked for in your quote. We try and take it to the next level, and a big reason why, so for starting out, we didn't have a laser, but like I said, we had a lot of customers that gave us work for laser. We didn't just pick it up and take it. We brought it back. We inspected every single part, cleaned out all the scratches, deburred everything, DA sanded it, and gave them a product. The one, our big customer who we started out with, I asked, hey, how did we do? And they said this was the first time they ever received parts from a company that their paint shop didn't have to touch.
Wow.
And that's how we've always treated it. I can't stand burrs. I can't stand scratches. I hate the fact that the mill will only guarantee the top of a sheet. So the bottom scratch, well, you're shit out of luck. That sickens me to the core. That's why we spent, a couple $100,000 on a time saver, because I just can't. It's just trying to go above and beyond for what our customers are asking, and sometimes it's bit us in the ass. Customer, like, this is way more than we wanted. This isn't going to work now for what we were looking for, because now we have 4 other products we're shipping out that we got somewhere else, and this stands out. And it's way too nice. So I would say just trying to go above and beyond what our customers are looking for. But also on a personal level, I want our employees to kind of feel some kind of success or pride in what they're doing. Employees are going to come in and clock in and out. This is their job. I get it. I can't expect my employees to treat this like this their company. You know, that's how anywhere I worked, I tried to treat it like it was my company. I'm never going to ask my employees of that. If they do it, great. It's gonna take you places in life, whether it's here or outside of it. Having that mentality of it, and that's what I just try and ask our employees. Come in, do the best you could do, produce the best product you could do. We'll help you. If you need something to do that, let us know and we'll look into it if it's something we can do. It's probably the best description of what I can give. You know, I'm going to look into it.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned there either here or someone else. How do you handle someone leaving on good terms?
Great. We asked for it. You know, times have changed. You know, if someone doesn't want to give me 2 weeks, I don't care anymore. You know, because we've had people give 2 weeks, and after 3-4 days, it's so awkward. It's so uncomfortable. I don't care how positive. No, I want to come in every day. It's gonna be great. During that 2 week span, you're gonna see that employee slowly check out and start saying something of what he thought was wrong or why, or just say the wrong thing, and it just kind of spreads. If you want to give 2 weeks and you're gonna work, fantastic. If you give us 2 weeks and we say no, you're good, you can leave. That's still ending on great terms. And if you want to come back, great. You know, we're never going to close a door unless you handle it wrong. You want to come in and start running your mouth about, oh, I don't like the way this is ran, blah, 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 and start talking trash to other employees. You're going to burn your bridge. We're just going to we're going to ask you to leave. But it's going to happen. You know, when I first started, like I said, we haven't had a lot of people leave. But the ones that have, majority of them have left on great terms. And the ones that didn't, you know, a few years ago, it pissed me off. And now I'm like, you know what? If you're leaving, you're going somewhere where you think you're going to better yourselves. Who am I to hold you back? Because I was in your shoes at some point.
There you go.
You know, there are times that I left when Sean went where he was general manager and pulled me. I took a pay cut to go there just as I wanted to get into project managing. I wanted to get into helping start something. And it shot me up, you know, and it got me here, you know, and that's where we try and explain to all of our, you know, and you sit down, hey, I'm putting my notice in, oh, you know, the grass isn't always greener. It could be. It very well could be. If you're just looking for a buck, go ahead. You know, I'm not going to hold you, and I'm not going to get in that game of, if you're going to come and put your notice in, it better not be a threat because your notice is in. You know, I'm not going to try and fall. Well, they're giving me 50 cents more or $1. All right, then go ahead. Yeah, if you're a great employee, or hey, we really want you to stay, we're going to offer you something. Oh, well, they gave me 50 cents more than that. Well, then go. I'm not going to nickel and dime over this. If you need to go ahead. We try and keep our employees as best we can. We try and keep them as excited as they can be to come to work. But obviously, this is still a business. We have to make money at the end of the day. But we try and do little things. You know, I do a lot of catering and barbecue competition. So I'm always smoking food for them, trying to do different things, concoction, bringing them food. Hey, we're going to take you guys out, or hey, we're shutting down a half day. You're going to get paid for the full day. You want to stay and hang out? Great. You want to leave? Go ahead. We're trying to plan something that we could do it on a Saturday. We'll do a full cookout. Bring your family, you know, bring the kids. Everyone will hang out. It'll be a great time. So we try and get everyone to be a little more personal. Everyone know each other's families because we feel that goes a long way.
Speaking of barbecue, what's more difficult, a really difficult fab project or feeding the entire company and their families on a Saturday? What stresses you out more?
Oh, a project. I love barbecue. Now, I did my first big catering this year for a golf outing. Okay. It's that one in the back. So that one, we won it the year before. And then my team did. They asked me to cater it this year. And it was for 250 people. That's stressful because I had everything planned, start up. It didn't start out great. And then it was 8 o'clock the night before I set up. And then I just sat there the rest of the night and then it was, hey, with barbecue and food, hey, this is when if you tell me 12 o'clock, that's when my food's ready. I quick learned at a golf outing, add 2 hours. And it was, oh, hey, it's going to be 1. It's going to be 2. It's going to be 11. You need to give me time because my food's done. Like, what do you want? That was stressful. And then serving, it's just, you don't understand how fast you're just moving. But it was watching everyone eat makes it worth it. Yeah. I'm never stressed when I barbecue. To an extent, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't ever want to do this again. I don't ever want to do this again. Now I'm like, I can't wait to do this next year. You know, and it's fun. Projects are because they'll affect my pocket if they go sideways. You know, that's how I try and look at it. But barbecue, I love it. Even if it's stressed out, you know, I'm my own worst critic. But it's still, everyone loves barbecue. So
how do you motivate your teams?
So try to be engaged with them, trying to find out, Sean's really great at this. He tries to every day, or at least every week. Hey, how's it going with the customers, or our employees? How's it going? What's going on in your life? Really try and talk to them. Try and make it personal. Try and give our guys breaks. The issue, we have so much different work that are production style that we'll have fixture. You do thousands and thousands a week, and we try and get them to switch on the different jobs before they get burnt out. Now, there's some employees that we can't put with aluminum or stainless, just because that's a whole other realm of technique and, experience you need. But we'll try and have everyone work with each other, move them around. We try and we've been more so, Andrea and Kyle have really been trying to push us. Hey, this is our annual raise. We need the budget for this. Where Sean, if you're doing fantastic, we're going to bring in and give you a raise. I don't care if it's 3 months after you just got your raise. That keeps people out. And that was struggling as an employee. I hated busting my ass all year to get a garbage raise, because that just makes it negativity in that. Whereas, if I was working at 6 months and busting my ass and you gave me a raise too, that's going to make me want to keep working. So we're going to see what people want, what they're, what engages them, and try and get them. We have guys that I just want to come and put my helmet down, put my earbuds in, and just pull the trigger all day. And that's all I want. Great, we'll give you that all day. And that just keeps them super happy. I need to be challenged. I need to be on something that I need to think. And so we'll put you on that. Grant, you're going to have to take the bad, with the good. And that definitely goes a long way. Just trying to find out and said, nope, this is what you were hired for. This is what you're doing. But we all just, hey, you're going to be moving around from job to job based on where we need you in our schedule. And that we thought would cause an issue, but it's actually helped out. Some of the employees really, really love it. It's given them a variety of different things, especially if they want to build a resume. Like, hey, and I told them, do this. You may not like it, but it's something you can add to your resume for if you want to ask for a larger raise, come here in the future or wherever you go. Like I said, we're always, I'm never going to expect someone's going to be here for life. There's always going to be, everyone has a dollar amount, regardless of what you tell me or not. So better yourself. We're going to help you better yourself because it's going to better us while you're here. And that we try and do that. We have through, I think it's the Manufacturer Association. We have a $2,000 grant to each employee. That we have the list up. 2 people have taken it. It's like your book club. Like, hey, we're trying to better you. Like, and you're getting $2,000 if you want to learn SolidWorks or you want to learn more about project management. Like, I'm trying to sign up for a leadership class with it. Like, that's where I feel I need to get more in depth with myself, is becoming a better leader. It's there for you. It's $2,000 a semester. Take it. Take one class. It's something you can put on your resume. You did this. You got a certificate in this. And we try and hammer home with that. But like you said, it's tough breaking that, that shop mentality to just do it. What's it going to hurt? I understand it's on your own time, but it's bettering yourself. And the younger generation definitely seems to strive towards it. How can I better myself? Because that's what they want. How can I better my life in the future?
Yeah, growth mindset's pretty huge in that generation. Innovations in metal fab. What do you see coming? Is there anything you're excited about?
Oh yeah. As far as project related or
whatever.
I really want a laser welder. I have seen them at one of our a customer we have that's a fab shop that subs some stuff out to us. I went down and saw it. This thing was awesome.
We have 2.
They're fantastic.
So Miller just made one. They worked with IPG, the company who created it, and they just made one. So it looks pretty amazing, but it's twice the cost.
Oh yeah, of course it is. If it's blue, it's definitely more expensive than anything. But when I saw this thing, I tried to break. This weld's going to snap. I couldn't get this thing to break. The metal was breaking around the weld, and that's something in the worst way. But you got to have the repeat work or what you're doing to justify it. Project-wise, we have a lot of big projects that was funny. We started a couple years in the prototype stage of it, so it's kind of like these. Say the way they call themselves, they're like the Amazon warehouse, but for like the food industry. And we were with them from the prototype stage. They're a California-based company. They're building all these big rackings with all this automation for food. They're in a couple of Whole Foods that we just did with them. And it was so going from the prototype stage to seeing, all right, last year was their first purchase order release.
Nice.
And just huge. It was massive for just us. And we just did, the tube laser cutting, the machining on it, the welding of it, took care of a powder coat and shipped it off. And then going on the job site, hey, we forgot to have you add these holes. Could you come to the job site? Then going to the job site and really seeing it, and just even that, just customers not knowing what we do. There's so much sheet metal work. I'm like, we could have done all this. We didn't realize you could do this. So and that was on I should have explained what we could do better as a company. But just seeing how these things all go together, how it all works, that was awesome. And now we're getting ready for the second large order, which is 5 times the size of it, But now they want us to take on the sheet metal work, the assembly work. It's 50,000 little M3 bolts that have to get bolted in. So that I'm super excited for, because it's stuff that we've always wanted to get into. It's gonna stretch us.
Yeah.
But it's gonna make us super uncomfortable. But I feel like that's, as a company, especially in our leadership group, when we're uncomfortable, we succeed.
Yeah.
And the only way we're gonna do it is by taking on a job. And if we botch it and eat it, that's gonna be a learning thing to learn. Like you're gonna fail before you succeed. And that's the mindset I've always tried to take, as much as I tried not to. I'm super excited for that project. That's going to be operations manager Kyle isn't, because it's going to take up like half of our shop, but it's going to get us into that next. It's going to take us to that next level. It's going to justify why we're getting all this ISO, why we're getting ITAR compliant. It's going to help us get to where we want to get to, in a very uncomfortable way. But I'm so excited for it. I'm probably the happiest person because it's my job. So I get to be through the whole, the quoting process of it. And even working with their designers is great. Like we have a whole list between their designer and myself of, hey, this is what needs to be changed, but this is nuts. Even just for like blasting for powder coat. No one thought in these feet that we welded on why we didn't put a hole to drain out instead of having to flip these things upside down to pour out the blast,
Yeah.
So that I'm so excited for that. Not so much of where we're going to put everything and stage it, but that's another.
You can worry about that later.
Yeah. We'll deal with it when it comes here. It's kind of been our MO.
That's the Brian Ryder saying, "Bring it in, we'll figure it out." Right?
That's been it. And Kyle hates it. What Sean and I said, because usually ends up being a problem he's got to figure out.
Yeah, I hate it too, because I'm a scheduling monster, and I've been through the overburdening of the shop, and I've watched the culture just tank, and I'm like, we cannot do this consistently. This can be in spurts, but we got to talk as a group when it's coming and figure it out. I'm with you. We're stretching right now too, mostly because there's pockets of work that's really heavy, and it's not beautifully all across the board the way we like it. So it's like we're really stretching people to build things they've never built before. And you want to talk about stress. It's when you're asking people to do things they're not used to, you're holding them to budgets. It doesn't go well, right? And then you gotta work through it. It's tough. It's tough right now, but I'm hoping next year will be a little bit different.
Well, it just also helps even just keeping the stability of the workflow. About a month and a half, we were super top heavy with a lot of customers that dealt with GCs, and every year in election year, these general contractors, everyone's holding on to their money. No one wants to spend. And we were so top heavy, it put us in a lull and made us realize we can't know. So we went out and attacked the market to get new customers. And now we're like, all right, we're overwhelmed, but we will not be top heavy. We're going to make sure it's spread out. That way we have that constant billable, build that cash flow is consistent, keeps Andrea happy and out of our hair. But yeah, I'm a schedule destroyer. Like you would hate me. Derek hates me.
We're gonna go to war, Larry.
Derek, well, hey, we need 7 days, 10 days for laser. And as soon as he sends that email out, I'll put in 3 orders. Hey, I need this in 3 days. And he just like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I need it. I'm telling you. But we've been trying to. I've been the biggest one that has had to work on that, and I'm doing my best.
No, that's really funny, because we were very much that way. Especially, I remember right when I started, and I remember going through a really, really tough time of just being overburdened and watching how that affected everyone. And it was like we were fighting employee fires more than we were fighting anything else. You know what I mean? And I was like, you can't do this for a long period of time, or you will burn everyone out. And that's what scares me more than anything. Probably too much on, it's a teeter-totter. You got to keep that balance of being super hungry and then backing off, and super hungry and backing off. And it's just, man, it's perfect for like one day. And then you're like, and then the next day it's one or the other.
Well, I have a question for you. How do you deal with how's your, because this is the first place, which is my company, that I've ever been a part of, that we struggle getting employees to work overtime. We have our handful that will take as much overtime as you can give them, and the ones that it struggle to get them to work nights. I've never experienced that in my life.
We had the same thing.
We're the only shop.
We had the same thing. So one way you can combat that is one, which you're going to hate this answer, is getting really good at scheduling for the calendars that the people want, which you're not going to want to hear that. We do have multiple calendars because we have people who are super overtime hungry. We have people who are not, and everything in between. Night shift has helped that because we do run 2 shifts now. We actually run a 312 and pay for 40. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is our night shift. They work 36 and get paid for 40. That was a huge plus because then you can actually keep people because they love that. And actually, I found out that it actually fits younger families better than what you would imagine, because I have some younger dads in that night shift group that are like, I get to see my girls, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they're super happy about that.
Is that a true third shift, or is that like a second afternoon to evening, or is that?
It's like a 4 to 4 or 5 to 5 type setup. Yeah. But I don't ever push. So I do get some heat from our team that says, can't we just tell people they need to work the weekend? And I say, no, actually we can. And I said, we can ask and say, like, we really need help here. I said, but we have to figure out ways that we can't just expect or force people, because it's just not the way. I don't think this is the way the future's going. So I'm probably too far on the front end of controlling workload. But that's what I did in the construction industry. So it's like my bread and butter, because I don't want to ever be late. And I also want people to work the hours they want, which means you need to have a lot of control on that. So I would say that's how we handle it. It definitely isn't always perfect on both sides, whether we don't take a job or we take too many, it fluctuates, but I don't think we're ever out of control to the point where I watched what happened in 19 and I was like, we can't do this to employees.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that helps at all, but it's not easy for sure.
No, it's not. I mean, a big part of, but that's nice. Derek's always on the floor working. Sean and myself, if we have to, I'll just go run the saw. And it's such a small thing, but it helps so much. It takes the load off our foreman and Kyle's shoulders. They don't have to worry about figuring out who's running the saw. Because we don't have. I guess we probably do have enough saw work to have a saw operator, but it's just so we're just gonna. Hey, this is our normal guy who does it and does this bad. But I'll go out there and do it. It's nice if I can get out of the office. Sometimes I'll leave my phone in here. And I'll just go and everyone's like, how are you listening to that saw scream? Like, that's like Mozart to me, man. I love it. And you hear it screaming away, and I'm just in my little Zen mode.
That's really funny because I'm the most mechanically deficient person at the company, so no one would let me near any of the equipment. How is your family with your balance?
Great. Like I said earlier, I don't think I've ever, from anyone I've seen start a business, I feel like anyone I've heard, they just work around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've definitely worked our fair share of some crazy hours and days, but I would say that we set ourselves up that we didn't have to. We paid a lot of money to get the right people to help us out with that, and it's good. It's great. Like, so perfect example. My wife's a teacher, so she has to be at school a certain time. She leaves at 7:20 to get my youngest to the sitter and then get to work. And I have my 8 and 5-year-old. My daily schedule varies, but usually I'm in at 5. I'll leave at 7, get the kids on the bus at 8:30, come back at 9, leave at 3 to get them off the bus, and then either work from home or I come back in the evenings. So it's great. They love it. Like I said, my wife's never had the real experience of what a startup business is. But she also kind of knows if I'm working in the evenings. Yep, she knows we're that busy. We try and really have a good balance, but I would say better than probably most business owners in 5 years in business. And it's fantastic. I love it. I don't know if I would love it as much if I was here 24 hours just grinding and not seeing my kids. I'm super involved with my sports. Love it. I'm at every practice, every game. She's always wanting to play, and I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Yeah, please. And the reason I say that is because I watched what happens when that's in the sense of working too much, right? And that's test. So don't carry that. Carry what's reasonable. And you're already down that road of trusting your employees. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. Because carrying that for a long time, I don't think, I just think it's a huge health detriment. I think stress at that level for that long of a time period is just, yeah. So that balance is really key, especially I've seen a lot of, or I've heard a lot of stories in the ownership entrepreneur realm, like you said, that is super detrimental, whether that be health related, family related, whatever that looks like. So that's good.
Yeah. The odd thing enough is that work is my stress reliever, which is crazy. Like
Oh,
if there's
you're
something
weird.
happening outside of work, like I'll bury myself in work.
Yeah.
And everyone can see it because our sales are going up, and it's just, and my wife knows that she knows if I'm just working in the basement, like I'm stressed about something. And
Larry's on a bender for work.
I don't bring anything home. I do my best to not bring any outside stuff into work. And I do my best to not bring work home. Because there are times my wife has no idea if I had a bad day or if I had a great day. I'm just very, I was with my dad, brought his shit home and it caused issues. I didn't want that. The issue was
Good
I
for
worked
you.
with my dad and lived with my dad and I hated it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want that for my family, my business, anyone's family. It's just not going to do anything good.
That's really good.
Mhm.
What would you tell a young entrepreneur who's starting out either their own business in industrial, metal fab? It doesn't really matter. It can be any industry. What are three things that you'd like to inform them to keep them out of the pitfalls?
Pay your taxes, because that's just learning from, how detrimental it could be, just,
Yeah.
my dad, the stuff he got into with that, what that could do and just affect even more than just in the shop, home issues and stuff like that.
Yep.
Have a good culture or try and create a culture to make people want to work and make you money. That's the biggest thing you're paying people to come there, but you want them to be there to succeed. I guess with that, set your team up for success. It's easy to hire people and say, "Hey, go do all this," but I don't have the right stuff for you to do it, so figure it out. That's not gonna work.
Good one.
That's not gonna work ever. We've done our best to not do this best. I've been there in that person's shoes that's been told that. What am I supposed to do with this? Figure it out. It's your problem. That's a good one. And then the third one, there's so much. Just trying to narrow it down. I would say even starting out, but I would say as you grow, listen to your peers and take advice from people who have done it. There's way more involved than you would ever think. We got in the business and we thought we knew everything, and it was real quick. Nope, we didn't know shit. It was when we had to learn on the fly. And be transparent. We try and be transparent with everyone in our facility. I would say not everyone as far as the finances, but we try to be transparent with the people who we need to be transparent with. Like Kyle's a perfect example of one. Sean and I both been at places where we want things and we're just told no without an explanation or why. And, a lot of the times that if we were just given those explanations or reasons why, it could have shifted to what we've done in our career. So we really, hey, Kyle, we need this, or why can't we do this? And, hey, here's why. Here's our finances. Here's our cash flow. Here's what we have in the bank. This is what we have in our line of credit. Like, this is why we have the driving force to get more work out in a week, or why we can't just purchase equipment. I would say that the purchasing equipment is probably more Andrew to Sean and myself, because if we had it our way, we'd buy everything we could right away. That's tough. I'm gonna actually, after this, I'm gonna really dive into that. See, I want to write it down. I'll send you another message after that, because that's a tough one to just narrow it down, because there's, like I said, I just squirreled off into 20 of them.
There you go. What are two things you'd tell young Larry if you could go back in time to be farther than where you are right now?
Hell, man, now you got me thinking. This is a good one. What would I tell myself? Be a little more humble. I was not a humble person at that age. I was a little shit talker and thought I knew everything. And they're definitely, it's hard to fall into like that shop, especially back, 10 years ago, to fall into that shop floor, like, your cliques you have and I don't want to say bully, but like that one person that's out that you don't want to deal with or talk to. Like, mine was my supervisor. I was a dick to him and not realizing his hands were handcuffed. There was only so much he could do. He was being like, hey, this is all I could do, but I'm dealing with you. I'm taking it out on you. And that you don't know everything. It's just that definitely the humble part. Like, I've definitely become a little more humble in my age to an extent with certain things. That would be one. And the second would be is take better care of yourself health wise.
Good for
I was
you.
not healthy for a long time. So believe it or not, so the lowest I was at was January 1st of 2023. I was 335 pounds. And
Get out of here.
I got bariatric surgery March 6th of 2023. And I now weigh 219 pounds.
Dude, congrats.
It is wild because doing it, like, I didn't see it, I could see it in the mirror, and it brought me in such an internal whirlwind. Growing up, I thought I could do what I want, just go work out, smoke what I want, drink what I want, not take care of myself. And eventually it does catch up. And what it did for my mental health was horrible. Because it made me really destroy my self-confidence inside just with how I looked. And then once I got to surgery, wild, absolutely wild what it did. Just losing that weight, feeling like a brand new person, looking like a brand new person. Like, I fit in the clothes I wore in high school, which is wild. And I wish I could tell myself back then, take better care of your health. Because you have, like, now having kids, like, I have no idea when my clock's gonna be, punched, and just, yeah. Or tell myself that you're gonna have 3 girls embrace for it, because I always thought I'd have boys. That was
Well, one, congratulations. That is a huge achievement. And I think going back and talking about health to your younger self, nobody's said that yet, but I think that's a fascinating thing because at that age, we think we're going to live forever. Right. And
yeah,
like you said, the decisions you're making back then certainly affect the person you are today. That's
definitely.
really good.
Yeah, and
Humility is a huge one too.
I got that surgery, then that's when I got in the barbecue. So I can have, like, I have one rib and I'm full. Great. And if I didn't have that surgery, I'd be eating a whole rack of ribs.
Yeah.
Constantly.
You're literally the best chef when it comes to barbecuing because you give everybody else the food.
That's it. Oh, my neighbors love it. They know when it's barbecue season because I go to all my neighbors, hey, sample. Let me know your thoughts. They'll text me back honest opinions. So it's great.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Larry, thank you for coming on. This was really, really excellent. One, I really enjoy watching your company. Obviously, we're in the same realm, so I love learning from other people. You guys are doing some really awesome things. We've had conversations about work as well. I don't think competitors need to be. We can be viewed as opportunities for each other, which I love to view, especially in this industry, in this area. I think we have really strong talent. I think we have really strong companies. And I think we actually do quite a good job, a lot of us, sharing knowledge, being helpful to each other. So, one, thank you for even agreeing to come on because I don't think everybody would.
I like it. I take that mentality. Like, yeah, we compete with each other on certain jobs, but there are times where I have had competitors that will sub me work out because they can't do it.
Absolutely.
And I've had competitors that flip out that I got the job that I would have sent them some of the work for tube. I don't have a tube laser in house. I would have sent it to you, but you want to be a dick about it. Now you're not going to get it. And there are ones where I've walked to it, but hey, I'd rather have some of the work than none of it. And that it's just, I like, and just with how, like you said, how booming this area is, especially in manufacturing and in the industrial realm, and how many people there are that work, everyone's going to get slammed. I need to be able to sub it out.
Same.
Like you said, you and your team had to sit down with us a few months ago to see what our capabilities are, where we can help you, and all that. It's not, we compete with each other. Why can't we help?
Exactly.
And that's the mentality I really strive for. It helps businesses, and just being able to reach out to you, like all your posts. I love your posts. It's shown me how much I need to get into social media, and it's just that I'm trying to get more into LinkedIn. It's just I need to block out that time to truly do it. And just even Andrew does all of our social media, and just how much traction we've got from some of these posts. For the longest time, like, these posts are stupid. I hate it. And now I love them. I love seeing it, and just the creativity with it, and just how it will create more jobs in our business, in that future. But,
it's really funny.
Having me on.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because I do get, now that I'm doing these culture videos right now and I'm doing some pretty crazy, stupid shit. It is really funny to see people not sure about it, and then watching other people's reactions online to the stuff we're doing and really being exciting for us, and it quickly flips the switch and people go, oh, now I'm really proud of the shit we're doing, right? It can just it just escalates because, you know, attention is attention. And especially in the sphere where we are, we don't have a lot of that, you know, and we need to show the really cool shit we're doing, because the things our people build are absolutely incredible. And they keep the world turning. They really do. Like you said, food pharma, you're getting into some of that. We do a lot of food pharma stainless. And I mean, just, we don't actually understand where most of our stuff comes from.
It is, but like, even just like, for example, like, you know, telling my guys that I'm doing this podcast, you know, like, isn't he the CEO of SWF? I was like, yeah, who cares? You know, and just even the impact you have on my self growth, not like just by your post about Dale Carnegie. If I didn't see that, I never would have read that book, you know, and I never, who knows if I would have started my growth, which I did there. So that's thank you and appreciate for that. You know, my business partners, thank you for that. You know, they saw it ever since that. And I got that book and it read them. And now now I'm so involved in, where are these next business books? Like you said, the 7 Good Habits, you know, I've read that. I have a whole list on my, you know, ebooks of what I need to knock off. You know, it is wild how much that does help out in business and self growth.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm not a reader. And the reason I started the book club is so I'm accountable to reading, because I don't think I could hold myself accountable. But when I have a team that's meeting every Monday and Friday to talk about a chapter, I can't not read it. I can't be the only one showing up not reading the chapter, right? So yeah, I'm with you. It has changed my life just like it has changed yours, just perspective and all that. And thank you for shouting out the post, because I never know if it's doing a difference or making a difference, but I'm just trying to bring people along to what I'm learning, because I know.
Wear that shirt, buddy. That's an awesome shirt.
Thank you.
I have some wild golf shirts that are like that. My wife's like, what are these? I'm like, I don't know where I'm golfing.
Makes you feel good, right? Being weird.
I can express myself one way. Might as well do some crazy shirt.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you, Larry, so much for coming on. And do you have anything you want to promote? Tell people your company again. Tell them if they can find you online. What are you doing?
Yeah, so Armstrong Metal Fabrication. We do all types of metal fabrication. We're in so many different industries. You know, we don't have a niche. We do prototypes to production runs of anything and anywhere. You know, we do our best to provide quality and customer service. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. And shout out to Andrea, who does all that.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
If I give a compliment once a month, everyone's happy. So thank you, Andrea, for that. And thank you for having me on. This was really fun.
Cool, man. Thank you so much.
Awesome.